Yo, what's going on, yo? I'm JB Hoops, and today I'm bringing you my mock draft 4.0. The 2022 NBA draft is today, so I'm quickly making this video my final mock draft. I'm going to have picks 1 through 60, the whole draft. I'm just doing it on this mock draft simulator by Fanspo because I just can't be fucked making a whole video. This mock draft is probably going to be a mix of what I think will happen and then also what I would do. So it's probably going to be nowhere near accurate to what happens later today. But let's just get right into it. So with the first pick in the 2022 NBA draft, I have the Magic selecting Paolo Banchero. I think he's the best prospect on the board. He can be the Magic's number 1 guy, so I have the Magic taking Paolo at 1. At 2, the Thunder are up, and I have them selecting Chet Holmgren. I think he fills their need at the center position. He can play defense, play make. So even in this scenario, if Paolo Banchero goes 1, I still expect the Thunder to take Chet Holmgren. So the Rockets are on the clock at 3, and I have them selecting Jabari Smith. Obviously, he fell to them. I'm pretty confident this is what the top 3 are going to look like. I could see the Houston Rockets taking Ivy, but I think Jabari is probably the guy here. And if not, they'll happily take Chet or Paolo. So I have the Rockets taking Jabari Smith. At 4, the Kings are up. I think they will probably trade this pick. I think it'd be stupid to not take Ivy. But it is the Kings, and they're looking to win now, even though they'll probably just make the play-in or some shit. But I do think with whoever they trade with, the 4th pick will be Jayden Hardy. The Pistons are up at 5, and this pick is the one I'm really not sure about. They could go in a bunch of different directions. Keegan Murray, Shaedon Sharpe, Dyson Daniels has been getting a lot of hype recently. They also could potentially go with Jalen Duren, which could really shake things up. But in this mock, I have them going with Benedict Mathurin. Next up, the Pacers are on the clock, and I think they go with the highest upside guy left on the board. They look to have their point guard with Tyrese Halliburton. I really like Isaiah Jackson at the 5. They're probably going to move Miles Turner and Malcolm Brogdon, but for now I have them taking the mystery player in Shaedon Sharpe. At 7, the Blazers are up. They want a win now piece. They just got Jeremy Grant for basically nothing, but I do think they go with another two-way forward, and I have them taking Keegan Murray. The Pelicans are up at 8, and I think they go with Dyson Daniels. They don't really have a point guard on their team, and I think he would just help their defense so much. He'd be a great fit with Brandon Ingram and Zion, and the Pelicans are going to be a really tough team next season. Next up are the Spurs. They have a great roster, but I think they take Jalen Duren if he falls to them. Jakob Poeltl is just a little bit old, so I think they go with Jalen Duren. The Wizards are up at 10, and whilst they do desperately need a point guard, unless they do end up trading back, I think they go with Johnny Davis here. I'd be pretty confident sliding Bradley Beal to the 1. They may trade him, I don't know, but for now I have the Wizards selecting Johnny Davis. The Knicks are up at 11. They're another team that's been heavily rumored to be trying to trade up for Jaden Ivey. So whilst I could definitely see them doing that, I don't think they really have much that the Kings would like. So I just have them going best player available, and in my opinion, that is AJ Griffin out of Duke. OKC are up with their 2nd lottery pick. They might look to package this in a deal to try and trade up to get someone like Shaedon Sharpe. But if they're on the board still at 12, I have them going with Jeremy Sohan out of Baylor. At 13, the Hornets are up. They desperately need defense and they desperately need a center, so Mark Williams would definitely make sense here. However, I'm pretty confident they'll be able to get him at 15. There's no reason the Cavs will take a center, so I have them going with Tari Eason, a super versatile defender and great athlete. So at 14, the Cavs are up, and I think they obviously take Ousmane Dieng here. He's a great two-way prospect, and it would fit in great on that Cavs team. So at 15, like I said before, I have the Hornets going with Mark Williams. Helps them out on the glass and helps them out defensively. So the Hawks are up at 16, and I can definitely see them also trying to trade up with the Kings to get Jaden Ivey. They could probably put together a package with John Collins, picks, and maybe Kevin Huerter or someone, and that might interest the Kings. But for now at 16, I have them going with Malachi Branham. He's a really good shooter, can create for himself, and then he's also a very solid point of attack defender to pair with Trey. At 17 for the Rockets, I have them selecting MarJon Beauchamp. He's a really good defender. I think that's what the Rockets really need. They've already got Jabari Smith at 3. A whole lot of offense coming from Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, and all them guys. I think a defensive wing is pretty much what they need with this pick, so I have them going with MarJon Beauchamp. Now, at pick 18, I have the Bulls selecting EJ Liddell. I think this is almost as much of a done deal as Mark Williams to the Hornets. He'll help out a ton defensively in the front court, and it's just really what they need. So now at 19, the Wolves are up. They also probably need defense, but I think they'd probably just go best player available here, and I think that is by far Jayden Hardy. I have him at 10 on my big board. He's a great prospect. He has a ton of upside, and with D'Angelo Russell being quite inconsistent, I think Jayden Hardy would be a great combo guard to come off their bench or even start at the 2. So I have Jayden Hardy going to the Wolves at 19. At 20, I have the Spurs going with a Spurs type pick. They took Jalen Duren with the 9th pick. They've already got a ton of guards, so I have them going with Nikola Jovic out of Serbia. Now at 21, the Nuggets are up, and I have them going with Blake Wesley, a great two-way guard who can get to the rim with ease. I think he'll fit in really nicely with the Nuggets because they desperately need some shot creation outside of Jokic, so I have them going with Blake Wesley. The Grizzlies are up next, and I have them taking Ochai Agbaji. They could also probably go with Blake Wesley if Ochai Agbaji is taken by the Nuggets. But you can never get enough 3-and-D guys, and Ochai Agbaji should be a great 3-and-D player. So I have the Grizzlies taking Ochai Agbaji at 22. Now at 23, the Sixers are up. They need defense, they need a wing who can defend. There's lots of options here. Jalen Williams isn't the best defender, but he has a massive wingspan. Kendall Brown maybe, but I think they go with Dalen Terry. He's 6'7" with a 7'1" wingspan. So I have the Sixers going with Dalen Terry at 23. At 24, I think the Bucks need a point guard or just someone who can contribute off the bench. I think Jalen Williams would be great for them. He can shoot it, pass, has a 7'2" wingspan, and I think he'd be crazy in them Bucks lineups. The Spurs are up at 25 with their third first-round pick, which I think is crazy. They'll probably look to trade them. But for now, they've already got a big man inside with Duren, a massive ball handling wing in Nikola Jovic. So I have them going with a great cutter and defender in Kendall Brown out of Baylor. The Rockets are up at 26. I've already got them taking Marjon Beauchamp and Jabari Smith. Alperen Sengun looks to be their long-term 5. They got Usman Garuba there as well. They got Jalen Green at the 2. KPJ is a little bit iffy at the 1. I'm quite a fan of him, but I think you can never get enough point guard play, so I have them taking Ty Washington, as he has fallen quite a bit in this mock. Next up are the Heat, and I have them taking Bryce McGowens out of Nebraska. Super athletic, can shoot the ball, handle, solid defender, and I think he'll be great in that Heat system. Warriors are up at 28. They obviously just won a championship, probably could do with some center depth. But with this pick, I think they take Jake LaRavia. He can do everything on the court. He's a great shooter, would really fit in that Warriors system, so I have them taking him at 28. The Grizzlies are on the clock at 29, and I think they probably go with a center on this one. They also could use a backup point guard like Kennedy Chandler, but I think they can just get one in free agency because I think they will lose Tyus Jones. But I think for this one, I think another center would help, and I have them selecting Khalifa Diop. Damn, he's ranked 59 on here. I think he's a great player, super athletic, switchable. He'll be a great defensive big next to Jaren, so I have the Grizzlies taking Khalifa Diop at 29. Now at 30 for the final pick in this first round, the Nuggets are up. They probably could use another defensive forward. I'm not really liking any in this range, so I would probably just take the backup point guard. I don't think Faku's really playable, so I'll just take Kennedy Chandler here at 30. Okay, now that we're on to the second round, I'm probably not going to be putting much thought into many of these picks. Kind of just going with what I think, but let's just get into the second round, starting it off with the Pacers. They took Shaedon Sharpe. That's a bit of a risk. I have them taking another risk. They're going full rebuild in this scenario, and I have them taking Patrick Baldwin Jr. out of Milwaukee. Now, next up on the Magic, they took Paolo. I think this is another great pick. They have Wendell at the 5, Franz at the 3, Paolo at the 4. Got heaps of guards already. I think another wing would be great for them. I think Wendell Moore is that guy. I think he'll be able to fit in any system. He's a great defender, so I have them taking Wendell Moore. The Raptors are up at 33. They obviously need a point guard and a center. I don't think there's a center I would take here. Maybe Ishmael Kamagate, but I have them taking Jean Montero out of the Overtime Elite. Thunder up at 34. They took Chet. They took Jeremy Sohan. They could use a big body center or another wing. They need some shooting desperately. I think Christian Brown can be that shooter that they need. So I have the Thunder taking Christian Brown at 34. The Magic took kind of a safer wing and Wendell Moore at 32. So with their second round pick, I don't know if they'll keep it, but I have them selecting Max Christie, a high upside guy. He can defend, score on his own, and has a beautiful looking jumper. The Blazers are up at 36. I think they take a center, kind of someone that can help out on the defensive end. That could definitely be Jalen Williams or Ishmael Kamagate. I'm not a big fan of Walker Kessler at all. I don't think he'll survive on the defensive end, and he just doesn't offer much offensively. So I would go Ishmael Kamagate here. I really like his game, so I have the Blazers taking him at 36. Kings are up at 37. This kind of depends on what they get in a trade, if they're trading the 4th pick. But if they do keep this pick, I expect them to go with a wing. And I think that would probably be a guy like Caleb Houston. So I'm going to go Caleb Houston at 37. Spurs are up at 38 with their 4th pick in this draft. I do not expect them to keep all 4. But for the sake of this, I'll have them going with Ryan Rollins. I think he's a great pick. Could be a first round guy, but I have him going at 38 to the Spurs. So the Cavs are up at 39. They already have their bigs figured out. Their guard play looks nice. They'll probably go with another wing. I think probably Gabriel Procida would be the guy here I would take. So I have the Cavs selecting him at 39. At 40, I think the Wolves could probably use a big man. So I have them taking Christian Koloko. I think you can slide him in a lineup alongside Cat. He can defend. He crashes the glass. And I just think he will really help out that Minnesota team. 41, I have the Pelicans going with a high upside guy, that being John Butler Jr. out of Florida State. He can shoot it, block shots, he moves really well on the perimeter. I think that's what they need. They need a defensive big to put next to Zion, so I have them going with John Butler at 41. 42, I think the Knicks go with Josh Minott here. They probably do need a point guard. I'm a big fan of Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickley there. I think Josh Minor has the potential to be one of the best defenders in this class. I don't think he got to show anything that he's capable of at Memphis, so I have the Knicks taking him at 42. The Clippers are up at 43. They could do with a big man, but they could also do with a point guard to set all of their scorers up. I think Andrew Nembhard can be that guy, so I have the Clippers selecting him at 43. 44, the Hawks are up. I think they need some wings, so I'm probably looking for a defensive wing here, and I think Peyton Watson can be that guy, take a swing on a high upside guy, so I have the Hawks taking Peyton Watson at 44. The Hornets are up next. I think a defensive guard would be great for them. Trevor Keels is just sitting right here begging to be picked, so I think the Hornets select Trevor Keels at 45. Next up are the Pistons. They could probably do with some forward depth, maybe another point guard because Killian Hayes doesn't really look that great, but I'll probably just go with Justin Lewis here. I think he slipped far enough. So I have the Pistons taking Justin Lewis at 46. The Grizzlies are on the clock again. They've already taken a shooter in Ochai Agbaji and a big man in Khalifa Diop. They might lose their backup point guard in free agency, so I have them selecting Alondes Williams to play the backup point guard for them at 47. Next up, the Wolves. Bro, they have like 7 second-round picks in this draft. They've already got Hardy. They've already got Koloko. So I have them selecting Musa Diabate. I think he's a great defensive big, and the Timberwolves could definitely use that. 49, the Kings are back up. I think they could definitely use another wing. They might get a backup center. I'm just not a big fan of Jalen Williams to the Kings, so I have them selecting Keon Ellis, a great 3-and-D wing, at 49. At 50, the Timberwolves are up again with their third second-round pick. I really don't know where. They're probably going to trade some of these, but for now, I'm taking a guy I'm not super high on, but I can definitely see him getting drafted, and that's David Roddy. 51. Ooh. The Warriors, they already got Jake LaRavia. I think they take another win-now guy in Jalen Williams. Their center rotation with Kevon Looney, James Wiseman, Jalen Williams, I really like that for them. So I have them taking Jalen Williams at 51. 52, the Pelicans are back up. They could probably use some shot creation. Hugo Besson could be that guy, and I have them taking him at 52. The Celtics kind of in a tough position here. They probably need a point guard. Julian Champagnie could be a good bet here. I have them taking Vince Williams Jr. I really like Vince Williams Jr. At 54, the Bucks pick has been forfeited. Just ignore that. Damian Cohen's is going back to Kentucky. This one's also forfeited, so we'll go Caleb Love. At 56, the Wizards are back on the board. They desperately need a point guard. I have them taking Matteo Spagnuolo out of Italy. He's a great shooter, can play make, and I think be a really solid point guard on the Wizards. 57, the Warriors are back. They probably need a backup point guard just to take some pressure off of Steph. I would go with Zika Samar here. He's a great playmaker. He can shoot it. So I have him going at 57 to the Warriors. Now at 58 to the Cavs, I think Isaiah Mobley would make a lot of sense here. Keep Evan Mobley happy, but they could probably get him in undrafted free agency. So I have them going with probably another wing. Yeah, I think Julian Champagnie would be great here. 59, the Blazers are back on the board. I think they need a kind of 3-and-D wing, probably. I think I'll go with Hyunjung Lee here. He's not really much of a defender, but he can really shoot it. Probably one of the best shooters in the class. And then at 60, for the final pick in the draft, there's a lot of guys here that will probably get drafted. Jabari Walker's going to miss out. Travion Williams, Michael Foster Jr. I think a lot of these guys will get drafted, but I have the Pacers going with another high upside guy, and I think that's Yannick Sosa. I think he has Defensive Player of the Year potential, so I have the Pacers selecting him with the last pick in the draft. Alright, so this is the final draft. I'll go through it slowly for anyone that cares and can't be bothered rewatching stuff. So that is the full mock draft for this year. There's a lot of guys that missed out. This will probably be nothing like what the draft will be like later today, but this is my final mock draft for this year's draft. Alright, if you watched the whole video, I appreciate it. Leave a like, subscribe for more. That's all I got. JB Hoops, out.